Hey guys, I hope all of you are doing fine. And today we will be continuing with our third class of our Attar making course. And today we will understand accords and accords with balsams. Okay? Because if we were making a French style spray based perfume and then just understanding accords will be more than enough for us. But accords with balsams play a different role. Okay? Why with balsams? Because everything about luxury perfume oils is connected to balsams, which cannot be used in alcoholic spray. Okay? A very few balsams will be stable, plus you have to use a lot of other materials to make sure that the stability of a balsam, to make sure that it's not degenerating and leaving milky effects or leaving some other particles. Right? So in general, we don't use balsams in alcoholic spray-based perfumes. Okay? So the whole topic of balsams will be in class number 7, starting with class number 7. But today we will understand accords with balsams, accords and accords with balsams or balsamic material. Right? I'm sure I'm not going too fast. Okay? So we have to understand accords first, which is, there are a lot of new students. More than half of the students have already been with the other courses, but do bear with me. This is a very important class for you to understand as well. Okay. So what is an accord? A musical accord. For example, when we are combining drums with some other musical instrument like a guitar maybe, like a guitar, drums and guitar, plus we can combine some other materials with it to make it sound like a melody, isn't it? It's absolutely the same thing we do in perfumery, right? For example, the most classical accord in perfumery, one of the oldest and the most classical accords is with rose or rose materials with sandalwood. Okay. Now this is a combination which is probably one of the best combinations which you will find. A combination of rose and sandalwood. And what is an accord? Rose and sandalwood. One part of rose, that is one drop of rose, or whichever way you're calculating it in the machine. One drop of a rose material and 9 drops of a sandalwood material. Okay. So what would be a good rose material? Phenylethyl alcohol, very good. What else? Geranyl acetate. Geranyl acetate is one material which is, when mixed with anything, including sandalwood, it will give automatically a rosy structure to it. Magical material it is when it comes to roses. Always remember this material. And a fantastic top note as well. So geranyl acetate, when combined with a good sandalwood material like polysandtol, and we start making our accord. 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, 7, 4, 6, 5, 5, 6, 4, till it's 9, 1. Now this is your exercise maybe. Okay, there are a lot of other exercises. You'll have to make more than at least 40 different products by the end of this course, but just for a general understanding for some of our new students as well. What is an accord? That means you sit and you start making accords. 1 part of geranyl acetate, 9 parts of polysantol, 2 parts of geranyl acetate, 8 parts of polysantol. So you have 10 materials, 10 different examples of the kind of rose and sandalwood you want to make. Right? If you ask me personally, this 6 and 4 is quite magical in its own way. 6 parts of geranyl acetate or any other rose material. There's a fantastic product called Vardia from Firmenich. Absolutely brilliant rose material. Many other rose materials. But try to stick to geranyl acetate because it helps in many other ways. And we have a wonderful sandalwood material called polysantol, and we've started making our accords. Try this. It's going to give you a very fantastic creamy rose kind of an effect. Right? So if, for example, we are taking this as our accord, name the accord, call it B or whatever you like. Try to mix ethyl vanillin in it. Okay. Try to mix ethyl vanillin. That is, of course, coming in powder, which you have to dilute in DPG. Now you're understanding what we're doing. You're understanding what an accord is. We are diluting, mixing, taking the best suitable accord for the perfume which we want to make. And then we are using the same accord with another material which is supposed to give a very fantastic creamy effect to the rose and sandalwood. Remember this combination, because this combination, if you're going for a rose-based attar, this combination will do wonders for you. With just this one combination, you can at least make more than 100 attars, 100 luxury perfume oils, just with this one combination. Add some patchouli, it will take some flavor. Add some patchouli and black pepper, it will take the flavor of oud. Oriental, I mean. Okay. So this is what an accord is. Now, what is the accord with balsams? Okay. I'm sure we understood what an accord is. Please do this. Please do this. You take the B and prepare an accord with ethyl vanillin. Okay. So take 1 part of ethyl vanillin, 9 parts of B, 2 ethyl vanillin, 8. Continue doing this. This is what you have to do until and unless we get proficient or our nose is mature enough to just jump through and make something. But not for right now. You have to sit down with it and you have to make a note of everything which you're doing. That is the only thing what a perfumer has to do. Okay. Now coming back to our attar making. So we understood this compound B, that is, let's do it because we have to do the same thing with balsams now. So what would that be? Geranyl acetate with polysantol, ethyl vanillin 10% in your choice of solvent, call it DPG, right? Let's give it some oud. Okay, this will be your formula for like something like rose oud maybe. Yeah, perfect formula. You have to just sit down and make it, right? EV, ethyl vanillin, 10% in DPG. Add patchouli oil, right? And add black pepper oil, right? So I will take say 4 parts of polysantol, uh, 5 parts of geranyl acetate. EV I will take 3 parts, patchouli oil I will take 3 parts, black pepper oil I will take 4 parts. Drops or grams, whichever way you like it. Combining these materials, I will get a very good fine alcoholic perfume. But it will not be, it will just be like something like a good rose and patchouli, good fougere kind of a rose smell. But it will not be an attar. For an attar, the same thing which we have made has to sit with a balsam. Right? Try to understand what accords and accords with balsams are. Now, the same perfume has to sit with whichever balsam you please. For example, labdanum. So this will be according our perfume or what smell we like with labdanum. Second with styrax. Third with benzoin. Right? I'm sure I'm trying my best to, we are not doing anything. We are just understanding what accords and accords with balsams are. Because all these things will be explained to you in detail, in which exercises will also be explained in detail. In just about, from tomorrow we are starting florals, from 7th class, you can say. So, in this class, we are understanding what an accord is, which we just understood, and what according with balsams are. As simple as that. So don't stress on it if you're not understanding anything. We have to learn dilutions, we have to learn powders. We will do all those things. That's not your point of worry. Just sit and relax what I'm trying to show you and how we are doing it. Because exercises in later classes will be much more simpler if you understand this very well. Okay. So I'm choosing to make something like a good rose with just 5 materials. And I want this rose to be luxurious and to be like a luxury perfume oil. What's like the oriental and the luxury attar perfume oils, which can directly be applied to skin. And for that, you have to use a balsam. So whichever way I'm making my rose, call this as compound rose or compound R, whichever way you like it. Call it compound R or R1. Right. All I'm doing is trying to make sure that this rose which I have prepared has to sit with the balsam. Right. So this rose can sit with so many balsams. We have taken labdanum. We have taken balsami heavy materials. Labdanum, styrax, benzoin, olibanum, peru, and talu. That's it. Right? So, approaching an accord or approaching a smell, which when it comes to luxury perfume oils or smells of luxury perfume oils, is mainly dependent on which material or which base the same smell is going to sit inside. Right. We will learn about dilutions of these materials in class number 7 or 8. Don't worry about that. Try to understand what we're doing. So we have made the kind of rose that we need, and we have to just make sure it's sitting with any balsam. And the quantity of the balsam becomes very important. The quantity of the balsam becomes very important because if the balance, please, this is very important for you to understand. If the balance of mono or sesquiterpene terpene is not maintained, then the smell will, either you will just smell the lump of the balsam if you use a lot of the balsamic materials, or you are just going to smell what the smell you have created. Okay, so a lot of experimentation has to be done, but try to understand what we are doing. We are making a kind of a smell which we are classifying it only as a monoterpene. Though we have heavier molecules, EV is a heavier molecule, polysantol is a heavier molecule, but we have still created an accord, still created a smell, still created something which we want a perfume to smell like. Right? Rose for this example. Let's take another example. If we are making the smell of jasmine maybe, which we have to do day after tomorrow. So I'm going to take benzyl acetate and benzyl benzoate. Just mixing these two materials is like 50% of the smell of a jasmine, 40% you can say. Just these two materials. Okay, these two materials are enough to give 40%, 40 to 50%. Just a few materials here and there. You will get the smell of a jasmine. But that's not what we are looking for. What we are doing is, after creating our accord, just have to make sure how it's sitting with our balsamic materials, which will eventually lead us to our fragrance. With labdanum, it will be very animalic, right? Very animalic kind of a material, labdanum, heavy and oriental animalic kind of a thing. With styrax, it's going to be very gummy, chewy, woody even. Am I making any sense? So, to understand our future classes, we have to understand what today's class is, which we have finished. That is, whichever kind of a smell we make, all we have to do is make sure that this smell is sitting with a balsam to finish a luxury perfume oil. Right? So guys, this was our class for today, which is very important for us to understand the future classes, that is accords with balsams. Of course, we have different exercises to show you how these things are done, but very important for you to understand the way we are approaching it. Usually it is only 30% of the balsamic material and 70% of our accord. Usually that's the way it goes. So we will understand it after understanding diluting balsams. Don't worry about it, but just try to understand what the concept is. Okay. So guys, this was our class number 3 of accords and accords with balsams. Tomorrow we are going to start individual florals, which are the life of any perfume. Muguet, then rose, creating our own muguet smell, and then creating our own rose smell, then creating our own jasmine smell. After that, we will directly start with balsams and dilutions. Right? Take very good care of yourself. Bye-bye.